This 17 News at Noon podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Maddie Jansen in today for Elena Rusk, and we begin with some breaking news. 2 bodies were pulled out of a southwest Bakersfield canal near Quailwood this morning. There was a heavy police presence in the area. This is right off Truxtun Avenue and Quail Ridge Road. The canal runs right behind a bunch of houses. No word on the identities of the victims or how they ended up in the canal. But again, there was a very heavy police presence in the Quailwood neighborhood this morning, and this appears to be why. Bakersfield police saying they pulled 2 bodies from that canal. We will continue following this investigation, and we will bring you more at kget.com. Today marks 22 years since the terror attacks of September 11th. People gathered at memorials, firehouses, city halls, campuses, and elsewhere across the country to observe the anniversary of the deadliest terror attack on U.S. soil. 17's Cecilia Trevino was at Bakersfield's 9/11 memorial for the remembrance ceremony this morning, and she joins us in studio with more. Cecilia?
Maddie, it's a day the whole nation mourns and comes together to remember everyone lost in the 9/11 attacks. This morning at 8:46 a.m. sharp, the ceremony started. That marks the East Coast time that American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the North Tower. That's the tower where the beam in our Bakersfield 9/11 memorial comes from. First responders from Bakersfield were sent to New York to help the community recover. This morning, our national anthem, moments of silence, and emotions were shared as many were taken back to September 11, 2001. The memorial sits on a concrete base that represents the Pentagon. Behind it, a Kern County fire engaging, holding a flag at half-mast to remember all the victims from the different attacks that morning 22 years ago. Coming up tonight, we'll have more on how residents commemorated today and how first responders carry the memory of their colleagues who lost their lives 22 years later. In studio, Cecilia Trevino, 17 News.
Bakersfield police are investigating after a teenager was shot to death in South Bakersfield yesterday. It happened just after midnight right off Hughes Lane and Wilson Road on West Haven Avenue. Officers found 17-year-old John Avery Davis, and they say he was shot by another person. He was taken to Kern Medical, where he died. No word on any arrests in this case. Another inmate has died while in custody of the Kern County Sheriff's Office. Deputies say detectives responded to the Central Receiving Facility on Truxtun Avenue for a report of an inmate death early yesterday. No further details have been released, and an investigation is underway. So far this year, 8 inmates have died while in KCSO custody. The last inmate death was less than 3 weeks ago. Now to one of our signature issues here at TV 17, pedestrian safety. In the face of an alarming increase in crashes and deaths involving pedestrians, the California Highway Patrol hosted a safety enforcement operation last week to turn the tide against this unsettling trend. Last Friday, officers posted up at Niles and Webster Streets, a problematic intersection in East Bakersfield, as well as at Roberts Lane and Plymouth Avenue in Oildale. Some officers dressed in plain clothes crossed the street as pedestrians, while other uniformed officers monitored the crosswalk and issued warnings or citations to those who failed to yield the right-of-way. Because of this effort, CHP says there were 40 citations issued and an untold number of citizens educated on the importance of pedestrian safety. Local officers plan to conduct more pedestrian safety operations like this at other problematic intersections.
Hello, this is Tim Callahan with Clinica Sierra Vista, and we're excited to unveil the Community Health Center of the Future, our comprehensive care center. It's located right across the street from Memorial Hospital. We have every service under one roof, from family medicine, OBGYN care, dental services for adults and children, behavioral health, and much more. So find your way to better care at Clinica Sierra Vista this year at our comprehensive care center. Visit our website, clinicasierravista.org, for the latest on this project. We'll see you soon.
A ceremony was held this weekend to honor 2 men who were killed while protesting for United Farm Workers back in 1973. Organizers put together a 50th anniversary memorial in Delano on Saturday. The UFW claims one of its former leaders, Naji Daifala, was targeted and killed by a KCSO deputy during the 73 grape walkouts. However, the deputy was never charged. Another UFW protester, Juan de la Cruz, died after being shot while shielding his wife on the picket line along the highway between Arvin and Weed Patch. Family members say their sacrifices were not in vain and that the goal has always been to improve conditions for farm workers in California. Those improved conditions include providing water and shade and prioritizing the health of workers amid triple-digit temperatures. Making news around the world, rescuers raced against time today to find survivors in the rubble more than 48 hours after Morocco's deadliest earthquake in over 6 decades, with nearly 2,500 people killed. NBC's Ralph Sanchez reports from Morocco.
The death toll here in the disaster zone is rising all the time, and much of the worst devastation is in remote mountain communities like this. We're in the village of Moulay Brahim. We're about 30 miles east of the epicenter of Friday's 6.8 magnitude earthquake. And this community was home to some 3,000 people. Residents here tell us 40 people were killed in the quake. That is more than 1% of the population. We met a man who lost not only his wife, but also his 3 daughters and his baby son. But despite the heartbreak, the rescue efforts continue. We have seen both professional rescue teams here, but also just local people who, hand by patient hand, are picking through the rubble, trying to save the lives of their neighbors. Now, there was a rescue here earlier, which is giving people hope that they may still find survivors. And experts will tell you it is the first 72 hours after the earthquake that are so crucial. Teams on the ground working to exploit that so-called golden window and save the lives of anybody they can. Ralph Sanchez, NBC News, Moulay Brahim, Morocco.
Also making news around the world, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un will visit Russia to hold a highly anticipated meeting with President Vladimir Putin that has sparked Western concerns about a potential arms deal for Moscow's war in Ukraine. The visit would be Kim's first foreign trip since the COVID-19 pandemic, which had forced North Korea to enforce tight border controls for more than 3 years to shield its poor healthcare system. According to U.S. officials, Putin could focus on securing more artillery and other ammunition to refill declining reserves as he seeks to defuse a Ukrainian counteroffensive and show that he's capable of grinding out a long war of attrition. All right, don't look now, but the Powerball jackpot is starting to get supersized again. The prize will once again surpass $500 million. No one hit the number, all of the numbers in Saturday night's drawing. The jackpot now stands at $522 million. The drawing is tonight at 8 p.m. Just a few months ago, a customer at a convenience store down in downtown Los Angeles purchased a Powerball ticket worth more than $1 billion.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.